Kelly Monroe, and the documentary I have chosen was the 13th Amendment. This is Paris Robinson. She's a hairstylist. She's from Lancaster. And this is my mother, Carrie Monroe. She is an entrepreneur who's from Virginia, but currently resides in Dallas. The first question for both of you is, now I'm asking you, Paris, what is the 13th Amendment?
The 13th Amendment is basically the abolishment of slavery, but specifically it says that slavery is abolished, but except as a form of punishment for a crime.
Okay, now this question is for you and you, and that question is, what was the most shocking fact you learned while watching the documentary? You can go first.
The most shocking fact I learned is that the United States is supposed to be like the land of the free, but we have, I think, 25% of all of the prisoners in the world?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what was the most shocking fact for you, Paris?
The most shocking fact was the fact that there is, I think, like 4.5% percent black people in America, and only, I think there was like 40% black people who were imprisonated. So yeah.
Okay. And during the documentary, what tactic did white people use to make the people look at minorities as criminals? Paris?
Fear. Like, they tried to instill fear in people. What was the question again?
During the documentary, what tactic did white people use to make the people look at minorities as criminals?
Oh yeah, they used the fear factor, because I remember in the beginning, they would accuse black people of like raping the white women, and so I say that it was like a fear factor.
Okay, can you give any more examples?
I feel like the fact that black people would they added a lot of punishments. They added a lot of like laws that black people would commit. And like, I remember in the beginning it said something about like during the slave days they would get imprisoned for littering and stuff like that. So it was like small crimes that they would arrest black people for, and it like put a target on black people.
Okay. And do you need me to repeat the question?
No, they use, I guess, media. Do you remember, it was one part of the movie where they were saying that at nighttime they would play cops, and it would show mostly black people getting arrested. But the biggest thing that was most influential is when they had that movie that the president put out, where it had black people portrayed as monsters, and they was putting that movie out, and the whole time during the movie, they were acting like monsters. They were violent, and then there was a scene where a white woman jumped off of a cliff rather than get raped by a black man. Mm-hmm. They little things like that, and some of the symbolisms, like the cross. You know what I mean? That wasn't originally part of the Ku Klux Klan thing, but they adopted it because of the symbolism.
What did you think the burning cross represented in The Birth of a Nation?
That's the movie I was talking about. Mm-hmm. So the burning cross, I guess it was kind of symbolic of the church and the Ku Klux Klan. I think they just pretty much adopted it as their own, feeling that they were kind of justified in their treatment of them, because they're not like humans as they would see themselves. They're more like animal-like. That's why they were chained up. That's why they were biting. They weren't communicating as like we are right now. They weren't talking to the white race. They were just acting like monsters that need to be tied down.
Okay, thank you. And according to the video, releasing the slaves would have broke the South economy. What would have been a way America could have sustained their economy without criminalizing minorities? I'm gonna ask you first.
I believe that, not having to be dependent on black labor, doing the job yourself. Like, if you want your lawn plowed or you want things planted, do it yourself, or just pay people, pay your children to help you. Go out and find people that need extra income. Introduce a bartering system. Hey, if you mow my lawn, I'll come bake you a cake. I mean, it's just, it could have been done a lot of different ways.
Okay. And what about you?
I was gonna say something similar. Like, I feel like they had enough people to do it. They were just lazy and rather have gotten it for free and by taking advantage of people to do it themselves. But I feel like if they were going to like want to use other people, they could have just paid them what they were worth, you know, or paid them enough to where they could actually be able to like financially support themselves and their family.
So why do y'all feel like them getting up and doing it themselves or paying for that labor was not an option for them?
It wasn't an option. It just wasn't a preferred option.
Okay.
It's always an option.
Thank you. And do you feel felons should have the right to vote according to the video?
Yes, I do. Because I just feel like if you look at everyone who runs for, like, you know, it's always two parties, one representing Republicans, one representing the Democrats. I feel like they're both supposed to be like good representatives of that party. That's why they would be the last two standing, right, in elections. So I just feel like either way it goes, anyone should be able to vote for either one, you know? Because I don't feel like a felony or like just because you're a criminal you shouldn't be able to vote. It don't make sense to me.
Okay. What do you think?
I feel like people with felonies should vote because I don't understand why they shouldn't. If I had some understanding of why they shouldn't vote, then I could probably agree.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I mean, it just seems like a package deal that no one has ever explained the rationale to.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like with the vote, I feel like they should be able to vote as well. But it seems as though with the 13th Amendment, that loophole that was instilled was you can't be a slave or be a, you know, involuntary servitude unless you are a criminal. So it seems like they're trying to take us back to the roots of not having that citizenship regardless. Like, it's not about if you have common sense to vote or not. It's about, we just don't want you here. You're not a citizen. You're free laboring. And I want to get you back to that position. That's what I think. Okay. Do y'all think anything?
I've been to jail a few times, and my first time was going for a traffic violation. And I felt that me being in there really, because they talk to you bad and they treat you bad, they treat you like a criminal. And I was like, I'm not a criminal. I just got in here for a ticket, you know. And the guard said to me, you are a criminal. I don't care if it is a traffic violation. You're still a criminal because you committed a crime and you're in here, regardless of the fact if it's traffic ticket, you know. So the thing is, if that's the case, then it doesn't matter if you're a felon. A criminal is anybody that commits a crime. And me speeding was a crime, and I was considered a criminal, but I still get to vote.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any input?
No, I agree. Like, it's weird to me.
What makes it weird?
Because, like, first of all, I don't agree that just because you commit a crime that you're just considered, you have that label on you as a criminal. Like, just because you cheat on a test or you a cheater, like, that's just weird to me. Like, everybody make mistakes. Like, it shouldn't be held over their head for, like, minimal things. Like, I feel like it should be forgiven of little stuff like that, to me.
Do you feel like the way the criminal justice system is set up, you're able to read and go back into the, like, okay, hold on. So it's like you said that it shouldn't be held over your heads. So do you feel like the criminal system, the way it's set up, makes it held over your head for the rest of your life? Or do you feel like after they go to jail, it is what it is?
No, I feel like it's held over you. I feel like people be punished to a great degree, like, for more than what they should be. Like, certain stuff be like, why are you in there for 10, 15 years? Like, I think I seen, I don't know what it was a girl, was it in the video? I think a girl, she had went to jail for 15 years for just, like, traveling with the coke in her,
The
like,
heroin?
yeah, the heroin, whatever it was, in her bag. She just traveled, she didn't even do nothing too much, like, but for something like that, it's just like 15 years? Like, there's people that's in jail for and stuff. You know, I just feel like it's not legit. It ain't rational.
Okay. According to Stevenson, America has too many laws, too many harsh sentences, no rehabilitation programs, and we shun the convicted when they're released. Do you agree with him? If so, why do you feel America has used that tactic? Do y'all understand that question?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there are too many laws, period, and it's a money thing. And mainly, you know, they don't really care about the people. It's all about the agenda. And the agenda is we know what crimes black people are more likely going to commit than people that aren't white. Or just poor people, period. You know, underprivileged people. We know what crimes they're going to commit because of the issues that they have and the environments that they're in. So yes, it's too many because they're so quick to hurry up and make it easy for you to commit a crime, but nothing to help you redeem yourself after you've served your time. And so if I get out of prison for 20 years and I can't find a job, I have to eat, so I have to steal. And so, you know, and if you don't have an entrepreneurial mind that you can just go out here and get it on your own and start your own business, unless you look up and find a job that's hiring felons, you're pretty much out of luck.
Pierce?
You said the question.
Okay. According to Stevenson, America has too many laws, too many harsh sentences, no rehabilitation programs, and we shun the convicted when they're released. Do you agree with him? If so, why do you feel America uses that tactic?
Yes, I definitely agree. It's like they said in the video, like jail isn't meant for reform anymore. It's meant for the other word, the opposite of reform. I forgot the word, but it's meant to keep people like going back. It's meant to keep people in the same type of mindset. It's really not helping. It's just a punishment, you know. And I feel like they need to do better with that because it's not helping them actually be able to be into the world and like have a new start, or you know, be able to change their ways and change their lives. But they have, like she said, they have no choice but to end up going back in there because that's all they know. And it's like the jail isn't teaching them how to be in the world. So yeah, I definitely agree with what he said.
Yeah. And it's like the way that they set up this whole system is basically getting people in jail. Like it is literally designed to put people in jail. When they get out of jail, they do it to where they could go back. And like you if they went to jail without like a high school diploma, there's no GED programs that really help them. No way to help them become a citizen. And it just seems like everything, like, and then the way that they treat you in jail, they put you in isolation, they beat you, you got trauma, and it's like when you get out, you all depressed and you hurt. Like it was one man, he went to jail for 3 years, and once he got out, 2 years later, he killed himself in a documentary. Because it's like you're designed to either put yourself in the ground or come back where, you know, we want you, in a jail cell. But the next question is, what did you learn about the corporation ALEC?
I never knew it existed, but once after watching the video, I learned that it's a private club of individuals that help make laws, like big corporations. They help make laws and they feed them to the Republican Party, and then they have the big say so on what laws are going to be passed.
What did you learn about ALEC from the documentary?
I like that it's a private club that passes laws privately within its organization, and they pass it, and we really don't have a say, which is weird because like, how is that even allowed? Then I learned that many big companies like support it, like Walmart and stuff like that. I heard all them big companies be supporting this, so I think that's weird.
Okay. Explain the law ALEC passed that allows Trayvon Killer to be found innocent. Pierce. You need to repeat it?
The Trayvon,
The boy that was shot.
which law was that caused him
No,
to stop?
can you? I'm gonna ask Miss Carrie.
It was basically a law that says if you feel that you're threatened, then you have the right to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how he got away with it, because he, even though the police told him not to follow the young man and to pretty much mind his own business, he felt like, he says that he felt threatened. And that's how Trayvon Martin ended up getting shot, his statement alone.
And how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's just another way out that white people use to get a slap on the wrist, while we the ones who have to suffer. Like, we're the ones who gotta in a bed or in jail because of something that's minimal. Like, Trayvon Martin had Skittles in his hand, and he was like a teenager. Like, I feel like that's, I keep saying the word weird because it's just weird to me. Like, it's just weird.
And there was many different corporations that funded Alex, such as Walmart, Victoria's Secret, a lot of the companies that we, purchased from and things of the such. And you recently worked at Walmart, so finding out that they actually supported Black people being criminalized and other minorities, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel better that I'm no longer working there, because I take that as a blessing now, because I really don't want to be attached to something. Because in the future, I do plan on going to law school, become a lawyer, maybe even a judge. So it's just like, me knowing what I believe in, I wouldn't want to support something or be a part of something that's like inducing like child labor and prison labor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what did you think about when Donald Trump said about the good old days? Like, what did you think he was referring to?
I think he was referring to the good old days where you can call a Black person the N-word, you can spit in their face, you can beat them up, and you can control or do or say whatever you wanted to say to them, where Black people didn't have a voice or the audacity to think that they could be somebody or even stand up for themselves.
What do you think?
I think that's also what he meant when he would do this whole Make America Great Again. Because it's like, when you think about America, from the jump, they started off on some unfair stuff. Like, with the whole saying that Columbus really found it, when the whole time it was already Native Americans here, how they kind of stole it, and then they brought slaves over, and then, you know what I'm saying? So, like, America was never really just great. So when he said that, it's just, like, weird. And with him saying that, what did you say he said again?
About the good old days.
Yeah, basically what Kerry said. Like, it was never good. He just wanted to where he has more power and control, because that's all Donald Trump really wants.
Okay. And what event made you feel uncomfortable while watching the video?
I feel like the end, the
documentary.
The end, the most had me like, I don't even want to watch it no more, because they had the actual clips of people getting shot and like with the blood on them, and just hearing the screams and then the cries from the people that was like witnesses to it. It's just like, that was too much for me to watch. I couldn't watch it, but Kelly made me watch it.
What was the most shocking and uncomfortable event for you?
I have like 2 or 3 that kind of tie
Explain
each other. The first one was the Black man that was getting pushed by a white man. He just kept getting pushed, and he kept just trying to walk forward as he's getting pushed. That was one of the instances. The second instance was, let me see.
Wait, what made you feel uncomfortable about that?
Oh, what made me feel uncomfortable is the fact that he's continually trying to hold his stance so that he can walk forward. And there's a white man just pushing him for no visibly good reason. As he's trying to walk away, why would you keep pushing him? He's trying to be a bigger person while you're taunting him or you're torturing or abusing him. What the part that was disturbing is that I believe that he knew that in his mind that he was less than them. I don't have the right to defend myself. I just want to stay alive and make it home. Because I know that if I hit them back, they're all going to beat me.
And I feel like with that, it's like, because it was at a point, the way that they portrayed Black people in America, it was like they were the super predator. Like, it was at a point they used media to, display minorities as, oh, watch out, they might kill you at night, or watch out, they're super predators. And they use media as a way to scare them so bad that black people looked at themselves as criminals. Like she said, he looked at himself as less than, as that white person beating and abusing him. And it's like the way social media had it was, oh, I am a criminal. I am less than them. And I feel like that was painful to watch for different children, for other black people. They didn't trust themselves. And what were the other two instances?
The one that tops that one is the video. What was the video you told me about that they played in the White House? It was A Birth of a Nation. Mm-hmm. The oddest thing made me feel uncomfortable when I saw the actor, the black man that was pretending to be the monster in the video. Like, I feel like you shouldn't have even. There should have been enough money in the world to make you play that part. So me watching him play that role, I would have felt more comfortable if I saw a white man painting himself black than to see an actual black person just to make some money play a role like that would take and cause so many lost lives and so much negative domino effect for generations to come. I feel like I was disturbed the fact that he was okay playing that part. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everybody should have refused, like, no, you already think I would have been like, nah, I don't feel comfortable playing that because you already think I'm a monster. I'm not going to just give you any more ammunition than you already have. So him playing that role, that was the most disturbing thing I ever saw.
Right, and I'm pretty sure they paid him less out of everybody too.
I'm pretty sure he got paid less than everyone. If he even got paid at all, he could have been a slave forced to play that part. We don't really know. But that made me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And what was the third thing?
The third thing is how at night, like it still happens now. The arrest, like when they were showing how black people were getting arrested that were on the drugs, just multiple people back to back to back to back, how they just make like this, all black people do is get arrested. All black people do is do drugs. All we do is steal and commit crimes. Seeing that, because even now, if you watch the news, they like to end most news reports with a black person committing a crime and getting arrested. It's like, don't forget, we're still animals, we're still criminals.
Yeah, I feel like another thing that was like disturbing was the clips of like white people being in the background and it just being like a body hanging from a tree. Like I feel like that was so weird to me because it's like they were just comfortable with like it was just like nothing, like they were nothing to them, like it's an animal or something hanging on a tree, like it didn't do anything to their spirit.
I could catch up today.
Literally, like what? That was weird.
I thought that was so psychotic. Like, how can you? What in you can be okay with that? Like at all?
How can you be okay with killing anyone, whether they were black or not? Just anyone, period. How can you be okay with that?
Like,
who are the real animals here?
And that's one thing I never understood. Like because the media is powerful. Like it had black people not trusting black people, Hispanics not trusting other black people, but literally it's a higher percentage of white people raping black women and white people raping other white people than black people raping white people or even their own race. So I'm like, you see who the real monsters are, but just because those monsters have control of the media, you're fearing the wrong person. You fear a black person over the white man that just thumped a black person to death. So it's like the fact that the media has that much power is like crazy.
Right. Because even when you think about them serial killers, like they mainly be white people. Like Jeffrey Dahmer was white. I don't care. I stand to it.
So like, how can you be a Hispanic woman afraid of a black man before you afraid of a white man? Like,
he's more likely to rape you. That's for sure.
Which one?
The white man is more likely to rape you than the black man would.
Mm-hmm. And the next question is, did you think prison was modern day slavery before watching the video?
Yes. I did think that prison was modern day slavery before watching the video, but watching the video just made me feel like I want to do something about it one day. Made me feel like that.
What do you want to do about it?
I want to be able to be a part of the system as like to add more black women representatives so that people can feel like their voice actually heard and to be able to pass laws eventually if I get there, you know.
And for you, did you think that modern day slavery was prison before watching?
It came across my mind a couple times. I never really had a chance to give it much thought, but I had a feeling in the back of my mind that it might be. But then after watching this video and having the time to like thoughtfully consider it, yes, I feel that way now for sure. I had a feeling before, but now it's kind of confirmed after watching the video.
Okay. And my question is, so overall, what did y'all take from the video, the documentary?
I don't know if this answers your question, but I just remembered like towards the end, the man said people always say things like, oh, you know, slavery doesn't exist now, and if I was back then, like if I was I couldn't be a slave back then because, you know, or I couldn't be segregated by colors and stuff like that. And he was like, yes, you can, and we do. But it's just modernized, you know? We're in a modern day slavery. And I think he said something else, too, about, he said, we're like asleep on the side of the road, like we need to wake up. And I feel like we do need to wake up as a community. And it's sad to kind of see, like, how people, the only time when people really care or, like, want to get up and do something about it is when black people die. You know, it's like, it takes, like, George Floyd's, not to say, not to say that, it wasn't for a reason, but it takes sacrifices like that to happen for people to just wake up.
We should be trying to fight for rights on a daily basis. It shouldn't take, like you said, it shouldn't take for anybody to lose their life for us to take our rights seriously.
And one thing I didn't like in the video was, like, towards the end, they were showing, like, different clips of people, of police brutality and black men being killed. And there was one man who was literally dying the same way George Floyd died, with a knee on his back and someone saying, I can't breathe, and the officer saying, F for your breath. I don't care about your breath. And then it's like, I remember watching this TV show, this show called Orange is the New Black. And this was way before George Floyd ever died. She died the same way George Floyd died, with a knee on her back. And it's like, all of these reoccurrences with no laws changed to help black people or help minorities while being arrested. It took months for that man to even be convicted of George Floyd crime. So it's like, where are the reforms at, like, in this world, period?
It kind of makes me think about how people say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And if we don't consider it broken and we don't do anything about it, we don't raise enough sand, and we don't complain enough, and we don't make our voices heard, or we don't fight, because we don't fight. We don't get together and fight for anything. But right now, it's a system that's technically not broken because no one's fighting to fix it.
Yeah, it's like we've become comfortable with just like being the underdogs. Like we've become comfortable with where we at instead of realizing like, bro, we're still under a lot of discrimination, and you can see it in the work field. You can see it in a lot of things.
Do you feel like minorities are just staying silent, or they're ignorant to what's going on around them?
I think a lot of us are ignorant to it.
I think it's both.
Yeah, I feel like it's like half of it is like ignorance. The other half is like we feel like we can't do nothing about it because we don't got no power. And it makes people kind of discouraged to do anything.
Yeah, because I decided I wanted to open up a prison, and I started telling my friends that. They looking at me like, what? How? What you finna do? How you finna do that? It's crazy how the world has taught us that we really don't have any much power or influence. But in actuality, we got a God who's gonna fight the battles and who can move a ship and get it done. But is there anything y'all would like to add before we close out this documentary? Is there anything y'all would like to add?
I would like to add, I believe that as black people, we should spend less time trying to work and buy the next expensive, unnecessary item, and take time to try to build up our own communities, build up our children, so that we can leave a legacy behind. I think we should take Black History Month more seriously instead of just barbecuing and saying a speech, remembering one person that did something well. I think we should try to figure out how do we bring back Black Wall Street, or how do we create our own community? Why we don't have our own light companies, banks, you know, but I have noticed that a lot of African Americans, when they become successful, they try to disappear and don't want to make themselves known that they're successful. They just want to be rich and they want to just run away. Or if they are rich, they're not really doing much for the community. They're out showboating and living their best life, half naked or overly dressed, overly just extra, but not taking their money to try to better the whole community as a whole.
See, you tell me that I don't want to get into all that whole industry stuff, because that's a whole different slavery thing in itself. Like how they try to portray us in the music industry, on like they be trying to like kind of groom younger Black people, like as far as violence. You know, they play a lot of violence in street music, even though most of the celebrities they not even in the streets no more. But they try to do this so that other people can get up. And I just feel like the whole system in general is just targeted to keeping us as the minorities. And I will also say that as far as like you said, being able to give back to the community, I feel like in our generation, just our generation in general, like we're so focused on becoming famous, TikTok famous, you know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be their own influence YouTuber. It's like, dang, where the lawyers at? Where the doctors at? Like, who's people that's actually gonna make a change and a difference in our community?
Did this documentary encourage any of y'all to start to get into politics?
Yes, I was already kind of interested, but I kind of agree with you. I think the best way that we would probably be able to make a change is to have our own prison systems and show them the right way, what reform really looks like when you're trying to rehabilitate someone. Because I've been around a lot of prisoners, and a lot of the times they go in and they pick, if they went in at 17, they can go in at the age of 17 and they can get out at 45 and still have a 17-year-old mentality and pick up right back where they left off. No extra knowledge. And matter of fact, a lot of times they're worse, because when they come out, the world has changed. Streets that you probably grew up on might be named different, maybe built up different. The whole world has changed while you were locked away. And so now you're like, I don't know where I fit. Everything is scary. No one wants to help me, you know. And so anger along with anxiety, resentment causes crime.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add, or is that all? All right. Thank y'all for y'all's time, Miss Carrie and Paris. Thank you.